All right, guys, so we got to talk about woke capitalism, something that I've talked about quite a bit on my channel, because despite being a hardcore capitalist, okay, I am a capitalist. I am not ashamed to say that, okay? I am able to recognize the flaws in capitalism. Mainly that capitalism is not a moral system. I do think it is for the better good, and that is probably why I will defend capitalism until I die, because I do think that it is the greatest economic system we've ever had, okay? It has single-handedly improved the lives of probably billions of people that have lived on this planet, okay? There's no other better economic system than capitalism when we're talking about improving people's quality of life. So I think that overall, capitalism is definitely a net positive. But again, there are downsides to capitalism. Again, the incentive to make money off of things that people know are immoral, okay? People know they're not right. And that is what is happening here with the whole gender conversation, especially we're talking about pushing this ideology on children, some of the most vulnerable in our society. There's a whole lot of money to be made off of this, and that, in my opinion, guys, is the reason why we're seeing it being pushed so much at all levels of society. It's a big money game, okay? Just like the pandemic. The pandemic was big money. And Matt Walsh, who once again is doing God's work, has exposed a local clinic in Nashville, Tennessee, the Vanderbilt Gender Clinic, in which you have an assistant professor by the name of Dr. Shane Taylor, who works for that university, stating that, hey, there's a whole lot of money to be made off of this, right? And the way she's talking about the amount of money that can be made off of transitioning people, including kids, is honestly disgusting, but it does show you the downsides of capitalism, which is woke capitalism. And I want to talk about that. But before I get into that, I must let you guys know, if you like my channel and you want to support my channel, you can check out my merch, my donkey pox shirts, the disease that is affecting America, or my hashtag no days off / hard work patriotic t-shirts, or my MAGA hub shirts, or my racist mugs, a daily reminder of the 2022 definition of racism according to the Democrat Party. There's lots of cool merch for you guys to check out at my website, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code gforemanbcp. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll this absolutely shocking clip. Take a look.
Starting in January 1st of 2017, according to the Affordable Care Act, insurance carriers are mandated to cover medical expenses for trans folks. Some of our VUMC financial folks in October of 2016, starting a couple years ago, put down some costs of how much money we think each patient would bring in. And this is only including top surgery. This isn't including any bottom surgery. And it's a lot of money. These surgeries make a lot of money. So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000. A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s. So that requires a lot of visits and labs. It actually makes money for the hospital. Now, these I got from the internet, but it's from the Philadelphia Center for Transgender Surgery, which does a lot of surgery for patients. And I just wanted to give you an idea of how much these bottom surgeries are making. And I think this has to be an underestimate. This is for a vaginoplasty. They're quoting roughly around $20,000 for a vaginoplasty, but that doesn't include your hospital stay. That doesn't include your post-op visits. That doesn't include your anesthesia, your OR. So I would think that this has to be a gross underestimate. I think that's just like the surgeon's piece of it, which anybody who's ever been in the hospital knows that that's like 10% of it. And then the female to male bottom surgeries, these are huge money makers. Again, I think this has to be an underestimate, that they're quoting around $20,000 for a phalloplasty. There's been different things that I've read that said it could be up to $100,000. Dr. Winokur, who's our surgeon, says that there's entire clinics where the entire clinic is supported just by their phalloplasties, and that is like a fraction of the surgeries that they're doing. These surgeries are labor intensive, they require a lot of follow-ups, they require a lot of OR time, and they make money. They make money for the hospital.
Yeah, that's all you need to hear, guys, in regards to why this is happening, okay? That's probably 99% of the explanation. And I'm not saying there's no other possible explanations for why we're saying this. I mean, there's quite a few conspiracies out there about why this is happening. But my gut feeling just tells me it's not really that complicated, bro. There's a whole lot of money to be made in this, okay? And when I was having my conversation with Kim Iverson about this, and if you guys remember, Kim Iverson, who is a more libertarian-leaning commentator, she's for medical freedom, okay? Regardless of whether or not that medical freedom translates to minors undergoing these surgeries that are permanent and can't be reversed, and they're not old enough to really consent or understand what is going on. Like, for example, they may lose the ability to have an orgasm, okay, before they even had one time in life, right? But anyways, she got a whole lot of backlash for that. During that conversation, I brought up the profit motive. I said, like, I think why this is happening is because there's a clear profit incentive to have kids undergo these types of treatments. Okay, like hospitals can make a ton of money off this stuff. Now, Kim Iverson said that she didn't buy into that. She didn't buy into this idea that there's this huge profit incentive to basically push this stuff on children and society as a whole. And I'm not sure if she's changed her mind on that, but admittedly, during that conversation, I did not do a good job of following up with her and rebuting what she was saying by breaking down the large market, the absolutely staggering market that there is for this in regards to the amount of money that can be made even with just a few thousand children, okay? Like you guys just heard in that video from this professor, the 5-figure cost of getting top surgery or bottom surgery. I mean, we're talking about surgeries that can make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a pop, okay? Now, the estimated lifetime value of these transitions can be over $100,000, guys, right? And you know how companies look at customers, right? They look at customers in lifetime value. They don't just look at how much they can make off you in one transaction. They look at how much they can make off you over a lifetime of transactions. Notably, the car industry, they do that a lot, right? And they factor it in to their marketing, their customer acquisition costs, et cetera, okay? So when you're talking about the lifetime value of what can be made off of a, teenager that decides to transition, again, it's absolutely staggering when you look at the whole market here. For example, this is a very rough estimate. Okay, these are some very rough numbers, but I think it drives home my point. There's 73 million kids in the United States. If 1% of these kids identify as transgender, you're talking about 730,000 kids that are identifying as trans, right? If you can just get 10% of those kids that already identify as trans to go through the full process of hormones, top surgery, bottom surgery, all the surgeries that they need to fully transition and get them on that for a lifetime, and the lifetime value of it, lifetime cost of that is $150,000, you're talking about almost $11 billion. $11 billion over a lifetime, guys. And we're talking about just 73,000 kids who decide to sign up for these transitions. So again, there's clearly a huge market, right? And you don't need that many kids to make it work, considering the amount of money that can be made off of one kid. Okay? Again, absolutely mind-blowing stuff. And that is why you have these medical doctors, or these so-called doctors, who have spent years studying biology that have bought into this gender stuff. Is not because they actually really believe it. They know what sex is. They know the role of biological sex and chromosomes and all that. They know. But they can make money though, right? All you got to do is lie. And lo and behold, you have access to what potentially could be a $1 billion market. $1 billion market. All you got to do is just lie, right? That's all you got to do. Open up your clinic, which can be fully operational by itself, right? That's probably a money-making entity, okay? I'm just saying, the profit incentive is clear, and it's not just at the medical level, okay? When we're talking about social media, pushing stuff on kids, these parents, man, that be having these kids that they claim knew they was trans before they were even 2 years old, right? Before they can even talk, they knew that they were born in the wrong body, right? Again, absolutely amazing stuff. They put their kids out here on social media like some type of circus show, okay? And they push this stuff and they get clicks and likes and views from it. People start to donate money towards them because they're pushing this on their kids, right? As some type of science experiment or some social experiment. So again, there's a incentive, a monetary incentive at almost every single level to push this stuff. And just remember, if you don't go along with it, you're a bigot, right? If you don't go along with kids being pushed and pressured into making decisions that they don't really understand, permanent decisions that are going to change their bodily functions because parents and doctors and therapists want to make money off of it, again, you are a bigot, okay? You're a bigot. But you know how to topple this whole system, guys? Outside of just banning it, right? Because that is what, a lot of conservatives are advocating for. But a lot of conservative libertarian types are not necessarily comfortable with the whole banning thing, right? From a absolute medical freedom perspective, right? But yeah, if you're not going to ban it, just allow kids to sue everybody that was involved with their transition if they end up regretting it later on in life. It's really that simple. That's the solution right there, because the reason why they're pushing it is for money. They're not pushing it because they believe it. They're pushing it for money. They know they can make a whole lot of money off of it. Even if you don't push kids into surgeries, guys, if you put them on the hormones, right? You do one surgery, you're still making thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, lifetime value. You're making a few $1,000s every single year off hormones that they're going to be on for the rest of their lives, right? Easy money. Easy money. And if you took away that profit incentive, or put it this way, you made them actually think thoroughly about what they're doing before they do it, all of a sudden you're going to see people believing in biology again, right? Biology will matter. All of a sudden, that, guilt statistic that they put out there about the trans suicide rate, all of a sudden, that's going to be irrelevant. All of a sudden, they can say, well, you know what? Maybe we should wait, and maybe we should try to treat them for all the other co-conditions that people who go through this type of stuff tend to have. Maybe we should treat them for their ADHD or anxiety or depression. Let's focus more on that, at the very least until they turn 18. What you're going to start to see is real science. What you're going to start to see is real medical treatment that's going to get to the root of the problem in regards to why a child may be feeling the way they're feeling in the first place, why they may be experiencing their gender dysphoria. And they'll try to solve that root problem instead of putting them on these drugs and pushing them into these surgeries that really don't solve the problem. Evidence by the fact that the suicide statistic doesn't get better even after transition, which the left knows, but they conveniently ignore. But they always want to throw that in your face to guilt trip you into pushing kids into, getting these surgeries that are permanent and irreversible, that they really don't understand. So, hey, just make them be 100% sure about it. If you're not going to ban it, make them be 100% sure, or you take the risk of getting sued, right? Losing all your money. Again, I guarantee you will start to hear sanity again from these people who are supposed to be medical professionals. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.